All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to game 1 of 1 between Lawliet and Romantic. The only game taking place here on Echo Isle. Things are already underway. As you see, Romantic has spawned as the red human player over here on the top left-hand side of the map. On the top right-hand side of the map, we have Lawliet spawning as the blue Night Elf. Night Elf versus human in this 1v1 matchup on Echo Isle. A relatively small map. Now, for those of you guys who are wondering why I'm not casting tournaments, well, a lot of those replays are not actually made available publicly. So because of that, I'm not able to cast those particular series any longer, but I am able to cast out the replay packs that are posted out every week by members of the community. Once again, thank you for being able to cast this, and I hope you guys are enjoying my little bit of efforts to go ahead and promote WarCraft 3 amongst the community, even, 15 years after its initial release. Anyways, let's go ahead, take a look over here on the top left. It is going to be an Archmage going up against a Demon Hunter. I don't think anyone was really surprised about that. Now, you do see the Scout Farm is being placed on the far side here. And this Scout Farm is, well, rather annoying for Night Elf players to deal with early on. Ever since, well, back in, I would say, 2012, 2013, when heroes did reduce damage to fortified armor, these Scout Farms actually became a pain in the side of Night Elf. Archers with piercing damage, Demon Hunters, and their heroes dealing hero damage don't really deal that much damage to the buildings, and because of that, it takes quite some time before that Scout Farm is even going to be pressured. What most likely will end up happening is an Ancient of Wonders being placed down nearby just so that it could go ahead and take it out. Meanwhile, Archmage has made its way out, and it looks as though it is going to try and go after the mercenary camp, clear that out as quickly as possible, as we now also see another Scout Farm being placed down by Romantic. Archer could try and pierce down this peasant, or could try and aggro the creeps. It looks as though the peasant is not going to finish the building in time. One or two more shots. There it goes. There's the final arrow, as the farm is sitting at 437 hit points. Now, that is going to cause Romantic to be a little bit supply stuck. He's sitting at 23 over 24 supply, being forced to build an additional farm back at home, and that will end up delaying things, as there was the cancellation on the building, thereby losing a little bit of that precious lumber and gold in the early stages of the game. Now, you did see that the Archmage did get mana burned. Is the Demon Hunter lying in wait for a second mana burn? It looks as though he may be there in just a moment, as the Archmage is sitting at 96 mana, going up to 98. He has to be extremely careful. The Water Elemental now trying to position itself back out, as we may be getting perhaps a Mud Golem and maybe a Forest Troll Berserker, or is he just trying to hide this Archmage away from the prying eyes of this Demon Hunter? That seems to be the case now. No additional heroes have been trained up. It doesn't look like militia are being called in as of yet, as we are getting additional farms now up. Are we going to be getting, yes, the Forest Troll Berserkers? We were, I believe, a bit supply blocked, now sitting at 33 over 36 supply. Those peasants now making their way down. Town Hall now making their way out as well. Archmage going to be dropping that Water Elemental here in just a moment, but a lot of time was bought by Lawliet. Lawliet will be able to finish clearing up this creep camp, picking up a Potion of Greater Mana, which he will quickly sell. Demon Hunter with mana really not altogether that great. Rather have those Claws of Attack +6, dealing just a little bit more damage and hoping to put pressure on this expansion. Archmage sitting at level 2 may try and aggro these creeps off over here. There it goes. Going to go ahead and aggro those units, pull it back up. Is the Archmage going to have enough for a Water Elemental again? That is the question now, as we should be looking at the peasants trying to build an Arcane Tower and a Town Hall for that expansion. Very, very standard play so far. Archmage does get to level 3, picks up the Tome of Experience right after, as we now see the Demon Hunter coming across, getting in a little bit of damage. Archmage is going to be able to drop a Water Elemental. Yes, it will. And that Archmage with double piercing is going to really deal a lot of damage to the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter now getting pathed around, and it will end up being forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal. You tracked that fireball. You saw the Archmage. The Archmage with 2 Claws of Attack, dealing 15 extra damage. Normally, you just shake off that Archmage attack, but this time around, well, it really did deal a lot of damage, forcing a retreat there. Now, the Archmage could drop another Water Elemental here. I believe he's just going to hold on to that mana. Maintaining the mana on your Archmage is very, very critical in the Demon Hunter matchup, just because, well, you can get mana burn so quickly. Anytime that you are slightly below 125 mana, as we are going to see the Archmage may drop the Water Elemental here. There it goes. There's the mana burn onto the Forest Troll Shadow Priest. That is going to be forced to back off there. Forest Troll Berserker now looking to get away, down to 32 hit points. One more slice could take him down, and yes, it does, as the Demon Hunter is sitting at level 3. Meanwhile, Panda now retreating back as well, as we are looking at a bit of economic advantage for Romantic, but Lawliet is going to now have the hero advantage and the army size advantage, as you now see here. Archmage may end up getting surrounded. No, 5 units around up against trees, not enough, as we now see Forest Troll Shadow Priest getting pushed back here. Archmage is not going to be able to use those water elementals effectively now that there is double Troll Shadow Priest already out onto the field. Until the Archmage gets to level 5, there is just not going to be enough hit points on those units in order to really stick around and be altogether that effective. All right, Arcane Tower blown down in a matter of seconds. Militia now being called in from the north, but Panda has the answer to that, as we now see a mana burn go down onto that, onto the Archmage from the Demon Hunter. Forest Troll Shadow Priest now taken down. Panda could come across with an additional Breath of Fire. Is it going to be enough? Archmage able to escape at 67 hit points. Panda could get a Breath of Fire off here across multiple units, as it looks like, yes, it will hit all of those footmen and some of those militia as well. A little bit of chasing damage happening underway. Forest Troll Berserker trying to get away, and it looks like it will be able to do exactly that, as Lawliet is now just controlling the pace of the game. We do see an upgrade to keep over here at the expansion, and what this will allow Romantic to do is in fact call to arms at the expansion and at the main base. Some time ago, the Town Hall, your expansion, did not have the ability to call to arms. It was called a little bit too strong, as all of your workers could instantly start to try and defend, as a mana burn comes across here. Not quite sure what's going on. It looks like Romantic fell asleep at the wheel, and with that, that is going to be just a devastating blow. Demon Hunter now turning back around, 51 hit points. Panda does have a little bit of healing necessary if necessary, but the units are just going to instead be backing off. Ancient of War absorbing a bit of damage. There is a couple of ensnares now going down. Once all of the Murlocs have that target, it is not going to switch until it gets poisoned. Well, obviously the Ancient of War cannot get poisoned, and because of that, the Demon Hunter can join in on this fight without having to worry too much about getting attacked. Murloc Tide Runners are all that are left. Panda sitting at 2, Demon Hunter sitting at 4. The Moonwells currently about half full, as we are a quarter of the way through day. Archmage may try and perhaps pick up some additional healing. It looks like it was resurrected at the tavern based upon the amount of hit points and mana sitting on that Archmage right now. Meanwhile, back across at the bottom left, you see a blacksmith being added and an arcane vault finally being placed down. The healing is going to become very, very important, as we are looking at well, lumber. Why would the lumber be built out in this forward position? I'm not quite sure. Unless it was really trying to add a little bit more defense and make it more difficult to try to take down these farms that are, well, essentially walling everything in. Scouting footmen getting poisoned, not going to be able to easily retreat, as the Dryad slowly giving love spears to the back of that footman. All right, Archmage heads off to the north, going to scout out that the marketplace has been cleared out already, and, well, drop the water elemental before it realized what was really happening, and this is just going to be bad news. Romantic going up against the Dryads of Lawliet, who most likely is going to be researching that abolish magic. If it's not already done, I would be surprised, as those water elementals do pose a bit of a problem from time to time. All right, Naga Sea Witch is going to be the second hero of choice coming in from Romantic. as we're looking to see, yes, an expansion already underway by Lawliet. The entangling of that gold mine about 50% done. All right, Footman attempting to take down a Moonwell. Is it going to actually fall? That is a question here. Archmage shows up to the party, and it looks like the Moonwell will end up getting destroyed. Units are now in retreat as the Archmage now tries to back off. Meanwhile, back in the center here, it looks as though, yes, a scouting Footman now taken out. Naga Sea Witch still not on the board as of yet, as we're looking at Romantic to perhaps try and play the mid-game and at least start trying to build some sort of army. 39 over 60 compared to 50 over 50. Romantic needs to figure out his long game strategy, otherwise, and execute it quickly. Otherwise, Lawliet is just going to continue to build on the lead that he has right now. Lawliet needs to find a way to do damage, and now that Romantic knows that the economic advantage is not for him, he may be forced to try to do an engagement a little bit faster than he would like. Archmage now looking to run around here. More water elementals being dropped. It looks as though they're just in the midst of these units here. There goes, once again, taken down by the Ancients again. And what that means is no experience given to the Demon Hunter, who is about halfway to level 4. Another mana burn has been completed there. Arcane Sanctums are being added. Priest finally being trained. We are sitting on an excess of 1,600 gold right now, but without the army to support it, what really can Romantic do? Lawliet is not capitalizing on this though, and if Lawliet does not capitalize on it, he could find himself even when he was slightly ahead for quite some time. Forest Troll, Shadow Priest, I guess those units are not going to be getting any stronger. No weapons upgrades are possible for them. We are going to be dealing with slow. More riflemen are added. The riflemen do not have the range upgrades, as the rifleman, this rifleman didn't get the memo, does not need to be alone, and will quickly get taken out right there. All right, Forest Troll, Berserker, and Shadow Priest. Sorceress is now being added out. Slow being used as well, as the Demon Hunter are going to try and mana burn its way through. Rifleman trying to get inside here. Not going to be able to. Just not enough room. Trying to get away now as the Priests are now joining in on the fight. There's a mana burn on the Forest Troll, Shadow Priest. Demon Hunter somehow able to get through, as the Scroll of Town Portal now bringing in the units. There you have it. Archmage and Naga Sea Witch show up to the party, as we're sitting at 50 over 78 supply. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, all of these poor peasants using a Scroll of Healing to make sure that one Breath of Fire did not take them all down. Arcane Sanctum number 1 has been destroyed. Arcane Sanctum 2 should be falling here at any moment. Rifleman still now finally with that upgraded range attack from 400 to 600, a 50% increase in range. Nothing to shake a stick at, as we now see the Druid of the Claws could be in trouble. All right, is that Druid of the Claw going to get taken down? No, it will not. Not even the Dryad, as 2 key tech buildings were lost in that retreat. 52 over 72 compared to 61 over 70. Gold advantage currently for Romantic, but I'm sure Romantic would just rather have more units out on the field. Sitting on 1,700 gold and no Arcane Sanctums to build, to use them with. We are looking at now a Workshop, Arcane Sanctum, and, well, another Arcane Sanctum back at the base at home. Lumber Mill upgrade, level 1 has been completed. Gargantuan Sea Turtle could get taken out here in just a moment as well. These, all of these trees should get cleared out, leaving for a relatively easy way for the human army to try and creep out this creep camp without exposing their back to their opponent. All right, one Tide Runner is all that is left. One shot quickly taken out as things are getting cleaned up. Bears will be ready to go for that next fight. 64 to 78 compared to 64 over 70. We are now all even up with in terms of army supplies and gold, as the Naga Sea Witch is looking to clear things up here. All right, Gargantuan Sea Turtle could get cleared out. Meanwhile, knocking at the second base, in comes the Bears, Dryads, Forest Troll, Berserkers. Bears with Roar could be a major problem as the units now head back off to the north here. Naga Sea Witch looking to pick up a Tome of Strength. causing a little bit of an issue here. Meanwhile, Breath of Fire going across multiple units. Spellbreakers, Archmage now trying to finish things up as the workshop once again is lost. Archmage does not have Blizzard. Remember, that is going to be a key issue. As we are now looking at a major fight here. Multiple bears just taking down the Arcane Sanctum for the third time. 3 Arcane Sanctums were lost, as we could have perhaps a little bit of turnabout here if the sorceresses can get enough slow. Naga Sea Witch trying to get some cold arrows off. Druid of the Claw taking a lot of damage. Panda, is it trying to Staff of Preservation? The cooldown not going to be enough. It's going to go ahead and get taken down, as now the Panda may end up getting surrounded. Panda losing a lot of mana right now. Uses a Breath of Fire in order to just shake off some of that damage there, and finally being forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal in order to get away. Army is split. Demon Hunter now back at 400 hit points with Rejuvenation, as it looks like Romantic has started to take a little bit of a lead, having, well, superior healing by way of items. 71 over 78 compared to 74 over 80, as we're looking at perhaps being able to put down some pressure at the expansion here. The Moonwells, they do look fairly dry, and that is going to be a problem. I don't see a Moonstone on any of the Night Elf units, and with that, if units are going to be stabbed of preservation back home, the Demon Hunter will not be able to get back in there and well, enjoy a full array of hit points again. All right, here you go. Ancient of War, Guard Towers, not yet quite upgraded. It looks as though finally going to get into upgrades. Sorcerers are now coming in. We do see some Fairy Dragons in here as well. The Guard Towers are just completely being ignored now, as the Sorceresses are now trying to back off. All right, how do you deal with Fairy Dragons? You fight where they are not, apparently, as the Archmage now realizes, you know what, this is a bad spot. I don't want to be here. My lines are horrible, so I will teleport out, and a beautiful teleportation it is. All units able to teleport away without suffering any serious damage at all. But are we going to get enough heals? There's a Scroll of Regeneration. Bear's now joining in. Bear going to go ahead and attempt to take down some units. That is just an illusion. 2 more illusions right there as well. They're going to get finished off, but not disrupt any of the heal. All right. Perhaps the reason why the opposing army just felt that much bigger, it was just an illusion, as we're now looking at the units doing a little bit of chasing. All right, Fairy Dragon trying to get away. Is it going to be able to escape? Down to 140 hit points. 79 over 84 compared to 80 over 80. Army sizes are now pretty much neck and neck. 1-0 upgrades and 0-1 upgrades for Riflemen and Spellbreakers, respectively.
Forces are under attack.
All right, Ancient of War in that forward position, not in a good spot. Looks like it will just get taken down. Meanwhile, we are going to see a potential flank here. Spellbreakers, Wisp coming in from the side. This is really bad here. All of these casters in the back line, as all of a sudden, no easy way to retreat. Water Elementals quickly getting taken down. Archmage may try and drop another Water Elemental. You see the mass detonation, Scroll of Healing. There is the teleport. Everyone trying to get away, and it looks as though it will teleport away once again. 75 supply compared to 78. Things fairly even, as Romantic, well, loses a peasant there, as the militia did not know, hey, I shouldn't even be in this fight. Naga Sea Witch here, ready to go. Turnaround is fair play, as the cold arrows are coming in very, very quickly. Bear's now trying to get back as well. Are we going to see a slow Staff of Preservation? Bear's now turning around to engage. Here you go. The front line of those bears, so difficult to deal with. Riflemen trying to lob those attacks. Is it going to be enough? Forest Troll Berserker trying to get it back, and it looks as though, wow, that low hit point bear, someone finally finishing it off with a marksman shot, as the Archmage now out of mana again. Rifleman turning back around. Are we going to see the necessary focus fire to deal with this? Fairy Dragon still up in the air. Hippogriff just 1 in the air, causing a little bit of problems, as we now see another mana burn happening. Demon Hunter sitting at level 5. Archmage down to 94 hit points, trying to run. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. The Mortar Team now trying to get back. Is going to be able to get behind enemy lines in time. Breath of Fire, well, bypasses enemy lines, as the Demon Hunter now once again in that forward position needs to back off. Demon Hunter down to 74 hit points. Looks like he will be able to escape down to 79 as the Bears are in that front line. Breath of Fire not effective at all as the Bears now trying to get into the back line. Once again, another Breath of Fire, Scroll of Town Portal being used to kind of commit to a fight only to retreat once again. Mana Flares being used to try and figure out where his opponent exactly is. Moonwells are now getting refilled at nightfall as the Naga Sea Witch sitting at plus 26 attack with the help of Roar could cause large amounts of problems. Archmage sitting at level 4, almost level 5. Naga Sea Witch sitting at 3. Going to be going up against an army here. The Demon Hunter sitting at 5. And where is that Panda? Panda also sitting at 5. 5-5 compared to a 4-3. And it may come down to, well, who can hold on to their expansion longer. All right, this could potentially be extremely bad here. Mortar teams, massive repairs already underway. It looks as though this is not going to matter. There goes the mine as the Archmage now gets up to level 5. Water Elemental could be dropped here in just a moment. You could go ahead and try and shock down more things, but that is just not going to work. Scroll of Town Portal now being used once again as the units are all now looking to back off. All right, Bears now heading back off to the north. Bears slowly heading back as the Fairy Dragons backing up again. All right, Archmage getting back into position. Rifleman re-healing again. It seems like we are just repeating the same strategy and tactic over and over. Attack, Scroll of Town Portal, attack, Scroll of Town Portal as the Archmage uses the Staff of Teleportation in order to get away. Mana Flare. Once again, up in the air. Bears now ready to go. Demon Hunter looking for the next fight as the main gold mines are now extremely low on gold. Let's take a look at this. About 10 minutes left here. About, what is that? About 8 minutes left here. 7 minutes left at the other gold mine as both sides are just trying to do well with the army that they currently have. Bears, what type of upgrades do we have? 2-1 compared to 1-1. Spellbreakers can remove much from the Bears, and you also have that that Roar Steel onto those water elementals. Archmage needs to make sure that he is far enough behind enemy lines that the Demon Hunter cannot get to the Archmage easily. If there is too many mana burns on that Archmage, the water elementals will not be able to snipe down those Dryads, as the Dryads are going to most likely be forced to try and dispel magic from the slow and from the Roar Steel. All right, there you go. You see all of a sudden a little bit of an overcommitment by Lawliet. Spellbreakers, many of them in that front line here, removing much of the mana. There is the Lobs as the mana flaring Fairy Dragons able to do their work. Scroll of Town Portal trying to reposition, trying to get away just a little bit away from those Fairy Dragons, and that is the proper counter. Just try and fight where they are not. All right, let's take a look at this. There goes another Bear mana burn. Naga Sea Witch down to pretty much 0 mana as the Panda gonna go ahead and Drunken Haze Breath of Fire, taking down a handful of units once more. Bears are in that front line. Do they have enough gas in the tank to try and finish them off? I believe some of the Bears are slowed as we are now pretty much out of casters. Another Breath of Fire taking down 6 supply of units in just a flash as the Demon Hunter is trying to finish it off, unable to do so. Scroll of Town Portal being used again. Are we going to lose perhaps some Bears? Yes, we are. 1 Bear lost. Second Bear was saved just in the nick of time. 60 over 84 compared to 67 over 100. All right. Scroll of Regeneration being used very, very effectively. All right. What is going on here? Why would those units even try and fight and engage? It is just giving experience, and perhaps trying to disrupt some of the healing as the mortar teams are back ready to go. 62 over 84 compared to 63 over 100. We are all even. Gold mines, main ones, have been mined out, and pretty much what you see is what you're going to get, save for a couple of items. This is going to be the tipping point. Do we have Scrolls of Healing on the Archmage and Naga Sea Witch? No, we do not. Bears, off to the north. We are going into Chimeras now. The Chimeras, what are they really going to do? Spellbreakers are naturally immune as the Entangled Gold Mine will get taken out here. Do we have a Scroll of Town Portal? No, we do not, as the Fairy Dragons are going to go ahead and engage. Mana Burn could be coming in. Demon Hunter could get the 6 here. We are now going to turn around and fight. Panda trying to get into position. Could Drunken Haze Breath of Fire all over these Mortar teams again. All right, this is not looking like a good spot to be in for Romantic. He's going to be forced to retreat with no real way, nowhere really to run. There's another Breath of Fire. Panda now is at 6. There's the Metamorphosis, and that is going to be the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.